Hello, Richard here. Before this episode starts, I wanted to tell you that the next Smith and Sniff live recording is happening on Thursday the 8th of December at the Aston Workshop and Car Barn in County Durham. If you'd like to come along, go to smithandsniff.com and follow the link on the live show page to buy tickets. We'll plaster links all over the socials as well, I'm sure. To get you in the mood, this episode is a recording of our audience Q&A from the Morgan live show, and we'll be doing another one of these at the next one. Hope to see you there. I'm Richard Porter.
I'm Jonny Smith.
And this is Smith and Sniff, a podcast in which two friends answer audience questions live. Thank you. You're very kind.
Yeah, thank you.
And not at all because I asked you to do that before we started recording.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Thanks for coming again.
We're going to answer any questions that you want to throw at us.
Well, first, we've been given some gifts.
We have.
By generous members of our audience.
Well, during the intermission, I achieved a wee, a free pint, and I stole a bike.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the pint. Who bought the pint? Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
You can't see this at home, but we're drinking pints that we didn't pay for.
Thank you for the bicycle. I was not expecting to be given the bare frame of a Mar in Bear Valley tonight. But sure enough, I have. And it feels special, because I have one of these that I bought brand new in 92. I think this might be a 93 model, but don't quote me. And, sorry, what's your name, sir?
Mike.
Mike has come from what part of Wales? That part. Mm-hmm. Yes, that. And said, oh, you might like this, Jonny, because you've kind of got one, and it's fantastic. So thank you. I'm going to put it on my office wall, which will make it look like I used to do a bit of robbing in the past. But I've put that behind me.
Or that you left your bike outside the post office for 2 weeks, and when you came back.
I remember when I first moved to London that I used to see this sort of thing all the time.
All the time,
chained up against fences, and I was like, oh shit, that's awful. They've taken everything, even the bearings.
Yeah, especially the bearings.
Yeah.
So that's your gift. Now,
thank you.
This has suddenly become quite Christmassy, weirdly, but that's your present.
Yes.
I got a little Rancho.
Oh, get out of
Look
town.
at that, little Corgi Rancho.
A Corgi Matra. What's on the bonnet? Is it a
on
mural?
the bonnet? Oh, it says it's got an M. I wonder what the significance of that is. Matra?
M for Matra.
M for Matra.
Yeah.
M for marvellous.
We've never done a Smith and Sniff.
It's a little note on the back as well from Will and Jack. Talk Wrench Auto. At Talk Wrench Auto. Thank you, Will and Jack. That was a really, really kind present.
We've also got one more present. You're wondering why I've got a shoebox with a biohazard badge on my lap. Nothing to do with my split trousers. Just pure coincidence, they're in close proximity. This one's from Mark. Mark's over there in a nice shirt. And if I open it up carefully, sure enough, gift wrapped, there's a slipper with a shit in it. So, just going to put that there, and on that side of things, and.
If anyone wants to give us other gifts, we will in future podcasts talk about the new iPhone or the Di Tommaso Pantera.
Yeah.
So just saying.
Or just Caribbean holidays.
Caribbean holidays.
Those.
Fortnights, 10 days maybe.
Yeah. I'm down with that.
Yeah. So anyway, just if you're taking notes, and we have one more objet du distressingness on the table here.
Now, where's the chap that gave us this? There he is.
Dave.
Dave came up to us early doors. You got here early, you were good. And
you're making it sound like everyone else is in trouble.
No one else is bad. And I think did we talk about these was it on Twitter or something? It was Twitter, wasn't it? This, I don't know why we're suddenly becoming obsessed with aftershave and Uda perfume, whatever. But these are Avon sports car decanters for perhaps a pheromone. I don't know.
So these are
incredibly artistic and bad, and we will put them at the edge of the stage for people to observe.
Well, is that wise? Is that safe?
I don't know, because this one is badged the Magnum. And if I... and when I open... Oh, my word! I'll just do a little sort of turntable turn around of that bad fella. On the face of it, one of those generic-looking sports cars from an insurance advert with no tags on it. On the other hand, look.
Oh.
Twist the back end round and look what we've got. Oh, man, that's raw.
What, like cheap vodka raw?
Have a toot on that.
Ooh, dear.
Oh, my gosh. Imagine me leaning against you at a bar.
Yeah.
In about...
Have you been treating wood floors again? No, just put some Magnum on.
1989, I'd have a skin-tight white T-shirt on, right? A cigarette over my ear. Perhaps. And I'd probably put the keys to my, what would it be, on the table.
What year are we? Sorry, late 80s?
89.
89?
I'm British, yeah.
Ooh. I mean, you're painting a coupe picture already.
I'm painting a coupe picture.
So I'm going to... I mean, Capri's a bit obvious, isn't it? Manta. You might be Manta Man. Manta Man with your white T-shirt.
Manta. Anyone in the room owned an Opel Manta? Absolutely nobody.
Ooh.
Not.
Oh.
You did. Okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. There's slim pickings in the room. What colour was Grandpa's Manta? Of course it was. Did he have it from new?
Grandpa's Manta, I think I saw them play in the Electric Ballroom in Camden. 94, maybe. Splashed on a bit of Magnum before I went out.
Oh, hell. Yeah.
I wouldn't have neck skin if I'd splashed on some Magnum in 1994. I've got Wild Country here, which is another...
Oh, shit the bed. This is 100 mils of black suede. I think this one's going to win. It's going to make it glint. Oh, look at that. That's incredible. I'm going to put these on display just here for you, which is no good if you're listening to it.
This.
Oh, man. Is that one all right? Which one's that? What's it called again?
Wild Country.
Mild Country.
Mild Country. Wild Country. It's...
How are they spelling country? Just asking.
It's piney.
Mm. Do you know what that smell is?
It's like...
It's when you've had a very rural accident late at night and no one's coming to help you.
Yeah.
But it's okay, you're not injured. The car is badly damaged, but you're not injured. And you sit in the car reflecting on what's just happened. And there's either the radio is still playing or the tape/CD.
Well, that always happens in accidents.
And because you've gone into evergreen trees,
all
you can smell is a strong scent of like Scots pine or Douglas fir, you know. mixed.
Saw him at the Electric Ballroom as well.
But there's a background of something playing, like, I don't know.
Oh. Tears of a Clown.
The Tears of a Clown, exactly that.
What were you asking me before we came here? Oh, yes, about how you pronounce the stickers on a car. We saw that. Who came here in that white BMW
Oh,
M2?
really nice.
Was it an M2? No, it was just
BMW
it's a
M2
235.
with the M stripes. Nice. That was gargling when it was coming into the car park.
And Johnny said that's got the...
It's got lovely decals on it. And then I went, is it decals? Is it decals? Is it decals?
Stickers!
Stickers.
Are you local, sir? Stickers!
Decals.
Fucking stickers on there. Speaking of which, Wild Country comes with stickers to decorate.
Oh, you can sticker up.
Decal your car. If you want, that's quite interesting.
I never even knew that car-shaped aftershave ever existed. That's what I love learning about through the listeners of Smith and Sniff. So thank you very much for that. What?
That concludes our show and tell from things that we've been given. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all the gifts. Here's
a guarded thank you, Dave, because you may have given us hazardous chemicals, but we appreciate it.
Yeah, if my arms go bright red tomorrow morning,
I can smell myself now. I put too much blue stripes on something. It's kind of taking away the sting of wild country.
You know, a lot of cars in recent time, performance cars, have either got too many options to get maximum commitment performance out, or they don't really give you what you're asking for. They'll rein it in a bit. Mercedes were always bad for this. Mm-hmm. So you say you're in extreme sport nutter mode, but actually it's going to hold you a little bit on the chain.
Yeah.
When I was in the toilet recently, not just then, but the time before, I noticed, when the flushes on a toilet,
yes.
They often have it's a circle button divided in two, big half,
yeah.
or a little button.
Yes.
Why don't they just have this on the dashboard of a car? Not because not because you've done a bad thing on the seat, but simply because you want. Which level of commitment are you wishing for? You're going to go big commitment, big button.
Some of those, Luz, it's not entirely clear which is which.
Really?
Yeah, and ones that I use regularly, I find myself just alternating no matter what's been going on, just to cover all bases.
It's usually... It's what, sorry? Press them both? Oh, that's like... that's twin charging, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Which is a complicated event, isn't it? Super and turbo charging. I'm always scared of just trying to understand what's going on there. There's so much plumbing. I'm never convinced. The
problem that the loo industry has is that they can't label those buttons because it would sort of seem rather vulgar. But I thought they should have like a pile of logs on one and a waterfall on the other.
A pile of logs.
And then it has a sort of woodland theme, but you know what you're getting.
I hadn't thought of it like that.
But armoured shanks aren't returning my calls, so this is never going to happen.
I'd never thought of the...
What, sorry?
A slipper.
But if you're going in a slipper, you do not need what the lavatory has to offer because you are... Well, I mean, that avenue we still haven't.
I've just realised it's
unpicked.
The toilet is the unbadged toilet. That's the sort of delete badge option. So you go, I'm not telling you what performance this lab's capable of. You're going to have to find out for yourself.
You're going to find out.
And like my brother, Dad can vouch for this, and I might have said it in a previous podcast, very proud of his Victorian-esque high cistern in his toilet because he says it will get rid of anything. He said I could probably flush an anvil down there. He hasn't. I don't think he has, anyway. We're supposed to be doing a Q&A.
Oh, yes.
We've not done any Q. And if there's no A's, there's no Q's.
Do we have roving microphone on standby?
We've got a microphone. Henry from
Morgan.
Got the microphone. Now, would anyone like to ask a question?
Ooh.
Yes, look, very close to It's a very short journey.
Oh, this is scary. Hi. Hi. So, my question is, Richard, you recently starred in Canage à Trois on the Grand Tour.
I did,
Will
yes.
there ever be a Smith and Sniff rallycross at Liddon Hill? And if so, what cars would you pick?
Ooh. Will there ever be
a Smith and Sniff at Liddon
Hill? Have you done rallycross?
I've driven a rallycross car, not in an event, because that would be disastrous.
I couldn't get on with rallycross.
I love rallycross.
Do you?
Yeah.
That switch between surfaces freaked me out.
It's WRC ADHD.
And the fact I almost rolled the car.
Because it's all about rally, but only in 5 minutes. It's all over. It's gone.
Yeah. I like Liddon Hill. I mean, have you been to Liddon Hill?
Once, yeah.
It's a good spectator venue.
Is it?
I think, yeah. Because you can see everything.
Hence why it's a good spectator. You know you absolute satchel of flesh. What on earth are you thinking?
I don't know.
Because you can see everything. You know, what with it being a spectator friendly sport.
I'll be honest, I took the day off yesterday. My wife and I went and got drunk together. Like
Did you?
Grown-ups, yeah. Old school.
That is old school.
And
were you wearing... Well, you should have worn the Stratos, but you'd left it in the glove box of my car.
Steady on. I didn't want her to jump me before we'd had some lunch and been to the cinema.
No.
But yeah, we got a bit squiffy. And then I got home and I had a very bad night's sleep because of the drinking, because I don't drink as much as I used to. And I woke up in the middle of the night and there was this beeping.
Beeping?
Beeping. Oh no, I got woken up by a very noisy motorbike going by. It's weird.
It's so bad.
Again, it sounds like a dream, but it wasn't. A very noisy motorbike. It woke me up and I was like, there's beeping. Oh, there's some fucking car alarm's been set off by the very noisy motorbike.
Oh, okay.
And I was lying there, I was going, what if it's my car?
Yeah.
So I was like, no, it'd be louder if it was my car, because our bedroom's at the front. So I was like, eventually I got up and I looked out the window and I realised it's like, as I got towards the window, the beeping got quieter. And then I was puzzled. And I was somewhere between drunk and hungover.
Drunk puzzling.
Yeah. I was sort of like the Bristol Parkway of drinking, where it's neither here nor there. But so, and I went back to go back to bed and I was like, why is it getting louder when I go into the bedroom door? What's going on? So I opened the bedroom door and stuck my head out and it was louder in the house. So I went downstairs and I was so drunk that I'd gone to get like some water out the fridge before I went to bed and I just left the fridge door open.
Do fridges have alarms?
Oh, our fridge does.
Gosh, I've never experienced.
But what I didn't know is that if you leave it open for about 4 hours, it gets very insistent.
That's a bit like old school landlines when you leave it off the hook.
Yes, and they start shouting at you.
And it assumes that you may be in a spot of trouble.
Yeah.
And it starts beeping.
So anyway, I was a little bit off my game today because I was like, oh, it's a good job I've not got anything to... Oh, shit, we're doing the live show tonight. But yeah, it's silly, bad timing.
I got woken
What were we talking about? Oh yeah, Liddon Hill, sorry.
Yeah. I got woken up by my cat purring at me at point blank range, and I thought it was a Hurricane aeroplane or something. And genuinely, I sort of came to and went, God, have I overslept? Because, like, you know, you wouldn't fly a Hurricane in the middle of the night in 2022. It's a stupid idea. And then I realised the cat was there, right there, going, it's dawn, food.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, dude, no, not now.
So only if you've noticed, time to get up.
Oh, it was awesome.
It's for me, I'm a cat. I'm crepuscular. Now get the fuck up.
Liddon Hill, I'd love to do a rallycross. MOT failure rallycross?
Ooh.
Yeah. That could be great.
So your car has to have an MOT before you compete, and if it passes, you're not allowed to compete.
What?
Or you have to fit some rustier wishbones to it.
Oh. What really, really wobbly.
Do you know what I'd like to do? There's this thing, and I always want to do this on Top Gear, and for some reason no one else really bit on this idea, which was that for something or other, it didn't really matter what, the presenters would say the cheap car challenge. They'd bought some old cars, car each, and then they had to do a lap of the Top Gear test track, but before they set off, the other two were allowed to remove one thing from the car.
What?
Because obviously one of them's going to do the steering wheel, but one of them's going to do like one of the outside wheels, and one of them's going to do the driver's seat, which actually would have been my favourite, I think, because
it's really hard to drive a car without a seat.
But not impossible. And those are the odds. So what about remove one thing rallycross?
Remove one thing rallycross.
Because it could be the gear lever, and you've put it in first before you take it away.
What's first gear rallycross?
Or put it in fifth before you take it away. Which in many ways might be more interesting.
I think what would be more troubling is that you had to use a CVT gearbox car for rallycross. Can you imagine the trauma?
Oh my God, the mooing.
As a spectator, you would just walk away within several minutes. I just can't bear this.
This one-make Volvo 340 series is not all it was cracked up to be.
Talking of transmissions, actually, I know it's a bit of a change of subject. However, in the car park, before we started recording this, so I assume it was somebody that was not interested in the Smith and Sniff live event tonight, was a Volvo XC70, you know it, Matty, because I commented, cross-country manual.
Oh.
Yeah, 3-pedal. It's not. Is it anyone's in this room? No, it was a member of. It was a Morgan staffer, but it was a great thing. I'd love one.
I don't know if I'd enjoy the manual in that. They feel like very auto sort of cars.
Yeah, perhaps so.
Maybe just me. I don't know. I mean, you know, there's a time and a place. You've got an XC90 manual.
You're one of about 7 people in Britain.
Did you? That's a terrible place to buy a manual car. It's so hilly. The clutch on that is going to be knackered, my friends. I mean, oh my God.
Hang on, you're next to Hillman Avenger in the gents' toilet chat guy. Oh, he's your dad. Okay.
So at the moment, I have an automatic Range Rover and a Volkswagen e-up, which has no gears. And I borrowed a manual press car to review. And as I've mentioned on the podcast, probably a little bit too much, I have quite a steep drive at my new house.
It's got a steep
It's steep. Oh man, it's steep.
It's too steep to wash your car.
My friend Rob, too steep. The water would simply miss the car and go off down the hill. You're basically suspending the car vertically and the water's just... My friend Rob, who's here and who listens to the podcast, because Christ, you wouldn't come here if you didn't, he came round the other day and he went, oh, your drive is quite steep. So I'm not lying.
Rob, where are
Rob,
you?
how steep is my drive?
Right, give us an approximate angle. So smelly clutch territory. If
Well,
you're
this
not
is the thing.
careful.
I've not tried to back a manual car up it until
smeary.
I borrowed a Dacia Dacia yogurt jogger.
Yogurt jogger?
Yogurt jogger. Don't even know what that means.
Yogurt jogger.
Yogurt jogger sounds disgusting, and yet
Despicable.
what was this? Oh yes,
I don't know.
It's a clutch killer. Imagine.
The concern thing is it has a foot handbrake.
Oh well, that's.
With a release.
Has it got a really knackered back bumper where they've rolled into lots of people at the traffic lights?
And the handbrake doesn't work. So I don't know what they...
Of course well, because they've parked on the hill a lot and it's just worn out. That's what's happened. So, okay, that's brave for a number of reasons, but why did you get a manual XC90?
Because it was cheap.
Okay.
Was it?
That's a good answer.
Oh.
It's got a tow bar!
This guy, he knows the rules. He knows
This
the
man
rules.
hates clutches. And he wants them destroyed at every
hater.
opportunity. Have you done any tractor pulling in this? Yeah, I have actually. Yeah, great, I'll take it.
Hang on, does that make you a clutch racist? is that a thing?
Anyway, so but just to wrap up the question,
Which one?
the one about would we ever go to Liddon Hill? Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But I probably would rather not because I found that gravel tarmac thing. It's the transition, coming off
Yes.
the gravel, slidey, and then suddenly grip.
Oh, bitey.
Don't like that. That really freaked me out. Plus the fact I almost rolled the car quite early on. That sort of freaked me out as well.
I'd like to do it on the proviso that one of us, when we're not driving, is a pointless navigator. Because if you think about
Snack
it,
navigator.
but it's like, it's clearly obvious where you've got to go.
Yeah.
But it's sort of like, it's camaraderie and annoyance all wrapped into one.
Just go 90 left over 70. 70? You sure? No, I'm just fucking with you.
Yeah. But you have to sit really low.
Obviously, cat
Because-
basket. Get on the floor.
So therefore, you have to hole saw a little hole under the dash to the counter or in the door. So cut a slat in the door. You know, like a World War II pillbox.
Yeah.
So you know, oh, I'm coming round. That's the start, finish straight. So then it's right, left, over the crest. So I'm just being an annoying and pointless co-driver. When you go, Johnny, it's not a right, it's a left. I can fucking see.
I know, I can't see. I don't know where we are.
You're just ruining it for me right now.
Could you have a camping stove down
I'm
there?
flat in third in an XC90 manual. And in fact, I'm not flat. I'm say 80% because if I go flat, the clutch will slip a little.
Well, his will.
Back off. Yeah.
Jesus, this is amazing there's any clutch
It's that
left.
little, has anybody had a car when the clutch is just on the ragged edge, on a thread? Little thread, yeah.
Yeah.
And you've got to nurse it. You've got to nurse it so badly.
Maybe that's what we'll go to Liddon Hill in.
They go
It'll
clutch
be the...
nurse rallycross. It's a thing.
Well, I was thinking also in sort of cars that you don't expect to be manual. So we'll have an XC90,
Yes.
a Jag XJ, a 7 Series,
Oh.
Porsche Panamera.
Oh, they did make them, didn't they?
Yeah,
A Pan Man.
yeah. And
I'd quite like one. I drove one.
I drove one as well. It was quite nice, wasn't it? But
I drove one on a skid pan. It's actually not an appropriate place for a manual Pan Man, really. I don't actually know why I did it, but I did it.
I feel like we've gone off topic a bit.
Yeah, we've completely gone off topic. You, sir, by the door, you've got
He's got the mic already.
use that mic.
Microphone. Right, shittest car, best road trip.
Shittest car, best road trip.
So the best road trip you've ever done in a shit car?
Correct.
Aha.
Okay.
Jonathan?
Well, I mean, when I was on fifth gear, I did drive Britain's cheapest car to the most expensive Alpine lodge in the Alps, obviously, hence Alpine.
It's a good spectator sport, so you can see.
And that was really good fun because we worked out one night in this lodge with the live-in chefs was the same amount of money as the car. So I had one night in this place. They actually let me have one night in it. And that was a really good road trip because it did actually start snowing. There was a huge storm that came in and we didn't have snow tyres or winter tyres on the car.
What was the car?
A Dacia Sandero.
Ah.
Yeah. But because Fifth Gear is skinflints, they wouldn't give us a hotel room on the way back, so I had to basically drive. We had to drive flat out all the way back to the UK to finish the job, and we'd had delays with the filming, blah blah, boring blah. And so I drove the car. I was actually really annoyed and tired. I drove the car on the limiter for in excess of an hour. I remember it was something like 117 miles an hour for like an hour, just like that. and actually, we had walkie-talkies, and I was going, still doing 117. Still got fuel in it. Let's keep going. I was just like, fucking get
Was
home.
the car sweating?
Honestly, the car was. When we pulled in finally for a coffee and a toilet,
Oh my God.
it was ticking so loudly. It was just going, help me,
Please
help me. It was just there, like VMAX for ages. And I felt quite sorry for it, but it did a sterling job. But that was the same one. I think I've said it on a previous shoot. In fact, on a previous podcast, because you said you're fed up with people taking pictures against the Ream circuit wall.
Yeah.
And we did do that because the director wanted to film
Yeah, of
there.
course, yeah.
And that's when I tried to jump over the wall for a secret wee. And
You broke your knee.
I'm convinced I'd broken my knee. Yeah. I hit the wall so hard on the sharp edge, I actually rolled away and cried. I cleared the wall and then lay down and cried for a bit and then went for a wee. And then I composed myself and got back into the game with the rest of the crew and went, right, are we all ready to move on then?
Johnny, why are you weeping? No reason.
It was so painful, so painful.
I think mine was, I went to the US when I was a student, I think, and a mate of ours, schoolmate of ours, had got a summer job in America working in a Dairy Queen. And we decided, back in the days, in the 90s, you could get really, really cheap fly drive deals, like £99 to Orlando.
Could you?
Yeah. But in those days, that was a lot of money. Except it wasn't, that's the thing. It was like 99 quid, something like that. It was ridiculous. Super, super cheap on a really, really basic old aeroplane. And you had to stop somewhere in Newfoundland or something on the way. It was very basic. But, I was like 20, so you don't care.
Yeah.
And we got to the airport in Orlando, and we were supposed to get like a Chrysler Neon or something like that, but we were last off the plane because we were at the back. And when we got to the rental desk, they went, we'll run out of cars. And we were like, well, this is a fly drive deal. And the guy went, well, have I got a deal for you?
Is that what he actually said?
Yeah. And for something like $20, we could take a Chrysler Sebring convertible.
Oh, shit.
There's three of us, and we had suitcases, and we could only
Sebring.
travel distances with one of the suitcases wedged in the fourth seat in the back, which meant we could only
With a
have the
belt on
roof
it?
down. Yeah, with a belt on it. And we drove all the way from Orlando up to North Carolina. And there's some quite beautiful roads. If you've ever driven up there, it's a nice old road trip, and we had a great time. And the car sort of didn't matter. It was a convertible car. And at one point, we were in the little town where my mate was working, and one of his colleagues, American woman, we were driving off in the car, and she went, "Who are those guys?" Which we found out later, and we were like, "Who are we indeed?" And we had a fantastic time. It was like something out of one of those sort of shit 90s college movies. We just went to a lot of house parties and things like that. But then, came back to the UK. Fast forward to when I got my first job on Old Top Gear, and for some reason, Chrysler brought in a Sebring convertible, exactly the same colour, exactly the same spec as the one we rented, which I'd never drove because I wasn't insured on it.
I drove that.
It was dog shit.
Yes, it was.
And I'd spent 2 weeks, who are those guys, around the US and eating shit food, and because we had no money, so we just had to eat in Taco Bell and for 99 cents, whatever that burrito thing was. And then at one point we were on a part of the road trip back. One of my mates went to a shop and bought some bananas and came back up. And I'm like, what are you doing with bananas? He went, I just need to eat something organic.
Is that what he said? Is that a fear and loathing?
Yeah, it was a bit. So it was great. But I didn't realise at the time the Sebring was absolutely dog plop car. But
yeah,
great trip.
Is anybody owned a Chrysler Sebring? Yeah. Seriously?
2
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So sort of.
I made that mistake when I met my wife, and she's American, and I went to Los Angeles to see her when we sort of started dating, and I rented a convertible Mustang and put the roof back. Schoolboy mistake in Southern California.
You had heat stroke?
And got heat stroke.
Oh, amazing. Nothing more sexy than a guy in a Mustang with heat stroke.
Yeah.
There's a
Do
few
we have
Mustangs that
another
come in.
question? Oh,
That chap there for the microphone, please.
we've got one. We've got one there.
That's holding the microphone. Yeah, that one.
Your best stories about Plato or Nadal?
Best stories.
Gossip.
You know he killed a guy in Memphis, right? Neither of them did that, as far as we know.
I've told you the one where it was the 5th year Christmas party in Birmingham. I've probably told this one. And I just arrived. I was a little late, maybe an hour. And I arrived at the pub. I took one sip of my first pint, say like this. And then Plato got thrown out of the pub. and he was so aggressive and put out by this. And I actually can't remember why he got thrown out of the pub. I really can't remember. Anyway, but the window for the pub, the front window was like, say there, where that Smith and Sniff sign is. And he was at the window. There were two bouncers. He was arguing with them. I could see pointing, arguing. And then pointing at all of us, like a dozen of us from the crew, who was settling in for what was hopefully a nice Christmas party, going, all of us, we're going. We're all going. Get the fuck out of here. This is a shit pub, we're going. And we're like, we've just bought drinks. Everyone has a drink. We're not leaving the drinks. Like, no, we're going. And he was there for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And chain smoking and walking in a tuxedo. I actually thought he was going to like start wearing the tarmac away. So I had to go out there and console him and go, look, people just want to finish their drinks. Drinks aren't, they're expensive. So we're just going to do that. And I wound him down. We went to the next pub. He got thrown out within 20 minutes. And the whole night, I was just damage limitating the whole time. It was the most stressful Christmas party I've ever been on. But apart from that, it was really good fun. But he is an absolute lad. 110% lad.
I don't have any Plato stories. I don't really know Jason.
Jason's amazing. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's other stories about Jason, which I probably can't tell.
I was going to say, just remember this is being recorded.
Yes, this is recorded.
As your lawyer, I would advise you just to think carefully about some of those stories. I don't know, Tiff stories. Tiff's just amazing. We love Tiff, don't we?
Tiff's amazing.
Although there was a new director that I worked with on Old Top Gear, and she was going on a shoot with Tiff, I think flying to South Korea, so it was a long flight, and someone said to her, don't sit next to Tiff.
Don't.
She went, well, no, I'd like to sit next to Tiff because I want to discuss the shoot with him and stuff. They went, just don't sit next to Tiff. If you don't. But they didn't explain why. And the why is because he doesn't turn off.
No. It's
just a wind-up toy, and he spent the whole flight. It's like the meal would come in. You go, what's this? What's that? What's in that? What's in that? What do you think's in that? Why is that? What's it? How big's that wing? What do you think? What will happen if you open the window now? And it's just like, just please, I want to sleep. Please, God.
He's
relentless.
like that.
But which is incredible because he's 104 now, and he's still got that kind of energy.
He's over 70.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's over 70.
He's genuine. Honestly, you'd want to be like Tiff at his age because apart from the fact he's still got boundless energy, and he's also an incredibly good driver.
Still shit hot.
Still
amazing.
I've told that story before about when we went out on a sighting lap around Kemble Airfield when we were filming something there. Sort of first thing in the morning, low mist hanging over the grass, and he just absolutely chucked it off the taxiway onto the runway, and he just overcooked it. Damp surface. We went onto the grass, and he just very calmly went, "We're going to roll."
Love it.
I think I didn't actually say anything, but I had time to think, "We're going to what? Sorry, what?
Yeah.
What do we do now?" And we didn't. We just bumped across the grass, but it was the utter calm. It was a Mark IV Golf GTI. That's how long ago it was, because it was a new car then. But it was the calm with which he said it, and I was just like, "But it's racing drivers, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the hardware. If you break the hardware, as long as you can still walk, you can get in the spare car and carry on." So.
Yeah. He said to me once, and I will get the full story from him one day, but he'd done a touring car race in the 80s and had a bit of an event afterwards, drove home with his manager, the team manager at the time, whose car was a Saab Turbo. Drove too fast back to the hotel, crashed it into a tree, but was just didn't have the time to just sit around and wait for it to be towed away, so just locked it, walked back to his hotel. Just basically, it was a steaming poor Saab. It was brand new.
Oh my God.
That's one of the very few accidents he's had. He doesn't have many accidents.
That reminds me of years ago, I don't know if anyone saw on Top Gear, we did a thing racing a rally car against a bobsleigh. Hammond and May did it. And it was Henning Solberg, Petter Solberg's brother, who was the driver of the rally car. And he hadn't driven the course before, I think, and the rally car wasn't there. And he said to his manager, I want to take your car. Going,
just amazing.
It's an Audi recce car. Audi S4.
How do you spell wreck?
Yeah, that's the thing. So, because I wasn't on that shoot, but the producer who was there told me this. So his manager was like, okay. I said, okay, I'm just going to go slowly and just find out where the course goes. But then, of course, he's a racing driver, so he set off and, all four wheels going.
Yeah.
And they listened to the noise subside into the distance. And there's nothing, and then they just saw Henning walking back up the.
Really?
And he just very casually walked up to the manager and went, I've crashed your car.
Really?
He just stuck it into a ditch and he just got out and walked off. Again, racing driver. As long as I can still breathe, I need a spare car to carry on now.
Yeah. Different breed.
Do we have another question?
Hello.
Hi.
I once managed to J-turn my company car through the office wall of the company I was working for. Have you had
Everyone else can leave. I want to talk to this man now.
Have you had any very unnecessary and embarrassing crashes?
Unnecessary, embarrassing crashes?
No, hang on. We need this story first, because it's going to be way better than anything we... First of all, what was the car?
Fairly new, Mark II Ford Focus, 1.8 C-Tech.
Okay.
Good detail.
Recce car?
Sorry?
Recce car.
So talk us through how this eventuality came about.
It had been snowing.
Okay.
I probably had aspirations beyond my talent. Wildly misjudged where the building was.
There's a lot of honesty to this. There's a lot of honesty.
Punched quite a big hole in the wall. I thought, can I get away with this? And I was the last one leaving the building. I thought, can I get away with it? And then I noticed the back of the Focus was quite damaged. So I had to fess up. But the embarrassment prolonged because they had to rebuild the wall during office hours. My boss had to sit there wearing ear defenders while they sort of sawed and chipped bits out of the wall. So I didn't really live that one down.
Oh my gosh. I've had some rubbish little accidents. I'm just trying to think of what they all are.
I once, again, early in my career on old Top Gear, we did a test of hatchbacks, small hatchbacks, super minis. And I took the Renault Clio home the night before the shoot for some reason. And a normal Renault Clio in the late 90s was a very feisty and fun little car. Not a 172 or anything like that, just a regular sort of 1.2, 1.4 Clio. And I don't know why I decided to go for a Raz in it, but I was like, I want to do some handbrake turns.
What is this, like in the middle of the night, or?
It's probably like 10 o'clock at night, but I think the more crucial detail is that I was 23 and therefore stupid. And so I went to the car park of a park quite near where I lived that was sort of gravelly. And there's no one there. And I went barreling in and barred it, and it would be that hand, wouldn't it? And did a nice little handbrake turn. I was like, oh, that was good. I think I'll do another one. Misjudged it a little bit, wheel onto the grass of the sort of just where the park carried on. And as soon as you put a wheel on grass, that's it. And I think then another wheel went on the grass, and then And so I sort of then went down into the park a little bit. Not too bad. And it was just a sort of Pirouette, 360 and maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I thought, probably shouldn't carry this on because I'm going to fuck this car. So I'm going to go home, just keep my head down.
Yeah.
So that's it. Got up early the next morning, came out, and I was like, oh shit, there's grass and mud all up one side of this Clio. And there was no time to wash it, so I just drove to the chute. And of course, I turned up at the chute, and everyone went, what's happened to this car? And I went, I don't know.
Honestly?
I think probably a tractor drove past it, and they were like, don't you live near the centre of Birmingham? Yeah, I do, but it's the bloody council. Tractor. And I never fessed up. I just went, it's a mystery to me, which I think probably everyone knew. They just went, fucking researcher's been handbraking the car in the park. So that was a bit embarrassing.
I'm trying to think of
Not like smashing your own office wall embarrassing, but it was fairly embarrassing.
I reversed when I was learning to drive on L plates. I don't know if Dad's still here. He probably got bored and went home. But I reversed Dad's car with him in the passenger seat over a low wall on a closed industrial estate on a Sunday afternoon and propped the whole car up on its fuel tank. Remember that? And Dad's quite calm. He was like, I've got to drive this to work tomorrow. and we kind of got underneath and there was no weeping of fuel. So I was like, well, should be okay.
Did you?
Yeah, had to do the sort of leany, pushy thing. And this was probably pre-CCTV. It was a shit industrial estate. So we got away with that. And then I'm trying to think of any other proper. Oh, I know, a Clio. It was a Clio 197. Yeah, Renault Sport Clio 197, and we were doing a shoot of fifth gear at Bovingdon Tank Museum.
Yeah.
Remember that place?
Yeah.
Cold winter's morning. Came into the sort of car park area where everyone had set up and just decided to thought, like a complete tool, I'll do a nice I'll grab a big handful of H-brake and just go in hard. And I went in really hard, and it was a great handbrake turn. It stopped bob on, and it went, and I went, that doesn't sound right.
I don't remember the Clio having air brakes.
No, I got out and I basically handbrake turned over a load of like carpentry screws, and I'd torn two tyres clean open. Ooh. They were brand new, and to make it worse, because I thought, should be able to sort this out. I'm filming for the next 10 hours. Should be able to sort something out. Phoned Renault up. Terrible mistake. Really sorry. And they were like, don't worry, we'll make a few telephone calls to try and get it sorted. Yeah, those tyres completely out of stock in the whole country.
Ooh.
And I only had one spare space saver. So basically, couldn't get home for ages. Everyone went home. I was still at Bovingdon Tank Museum. Well done, Johnny.
What, waiting for the tyres to come back in stock? It's a long wait, isn't it?
Just like you're a hero for about 3 seconds. And even then, you're not a hero, actually. You're a complete bell.
That's like when the Peugeot 206 came out. Again, all my stories sound like I'm 1,000 years old. I remember back in the 90s.
I know.
Well,
I know.
This story involves him.
Oh, does it?
We did a motor show special.
I know. Motor show special.
Motor show. Lovely, sweet show.
Sweet motor shows.
Birmingham Motor Show.
Glistening
NEC,
paint. Sweet
international conference venue and show site. And we made a special show for BBC One.
Special show for
special
BBC
show,
One.
Special show.
So special.
Just looking at some of the new cars that were going to be at the Birmingham Motor Show, and they got us a 206. Quite like really early right-hand drive on.
Oh.
And Quentin did a little review of it just to drop into the Motor Show programme. And he did this whole bit where he waxed lyrical about the handling, where he basically just palmed it into a constant scrubbing circle out on the runway at Kemble until it wore the outside front tyre down to the canvas. While he was going, the handling of this thing is as sweet as sugar spread upon a puppy. You're like, looking back, you went, that's not the handling, that's just you just palming it in a circle.
Was the other tyre like box fresh?
Oh, box fresh. It still had the pneus on it. It was like, but then he ruined one tyre, and we rang Peugeot and went, oh, sorry, we've broken a tyre, because it had a space saver. They went, we don't think we've got any spares. They were all on cars. which we need.
It's very bad news when that comes in.
Could you just put the space saver on it? Yeah, fine. But I had to drive that car back to Birmingham on its space saver, and then I had it for the weekend, and it was a bit of a nuisance because you can't drive anywhere quickly. Plus, it just looks, cars on space savers always look stupid, don't they? There's something weird about them. They don't sit right. So, yeah, but that was because of Quentin. It handles beautifully.
Beautiful handling.
Do we have another question?
Hi.
Hello. So I initially gave the Top Gear crew the benefit of the doubt over the certain Argentinian incident. But since I listened to Smith and Sniff and listening particularly to how Richard's mind wanders, I now firmly believe that it begun with a night on eBay looking at cheap 911s, seeing a plate and thinking we must make a story about this. Is there any truth to that hypothesis?
No. Has anyone else got a question? No, there's not.
For legal reasons? Or?
No, there's not. No, honestly. So the backstory to that was that we decided that whole special was going to be a goodbye to the V8. Possibly a bit premature, but, we could sense that this is, and it's sort of true. V8s are on the way out, as in his internal combustion. So we will do a little goodbye to the V8, an engine that we love, and said to the presenters, I can't remember whose idea this was originally, but we agreed it was a solid editorial. Said to the presenters, pick a car with a V8 that you love. And straight away, Jeremy went Porsche 928. And then he went, oh wait, no, Porsche 928 GT. That was my favourite version of that car. And one of our researchers got, because by then the presenters couldn't buy old cars for challenges themselves. They rarely could, and Jeremy could never really in the beginning, but James used to get muck in because no one knew who he was then, in the early days. And the researcher who was assigned to try and find cars for the presenters found there were 2 928 GTs for sale in Britain. So she just found the ads, Piston Heads, Auto Trader, wherever they were, and contacted them and said, I'd like to buy your car. And only one of the people replied, and it was the car that we bought. And we were up against it because we had to get the cars in containers to go to Argentina. So there was no time to lose. We sent a Porsche technician to go and check it out. He said, it's good, it's fine. And that's it. We bought it. It went in a container. It went on a boat across the Atlantic. And we never saw the car in person until it was in Argentina. And when we checked back, because the researcher, who's still a friend of mine, and she's a brilliant producer now, but she was beating herself up about this, and she checked back the ad. She'd kept a screen grab of it. The plates were blanked out. So we never knew. And that was, it was genuinely, Jeremy wanted a 928 GT. There were only 2 for sale. Only one person returned the call, and it was that one. Because quite honestly, the thing I've always said about that is, honestly, it was too subtle for us. If we'd have been doing it, the car would have had an enormous cock and balls down the side with General Belgrano written on it. And it didn't have that because we had sent our producer and our director who were going to do the film out there already, and they'd come back, and one of the things they'd said from talking to the local fixers was, we have to be really sensitive here. No horsing around. It's a powder keg. They are very, very sensitive about the Falklands, so we can't muck around. So all the joking we'd done in the office about, we can put slogans outside the cars again or whatever, we went, okay, drop all that. We're not doing it. It's too dangerous. And then for this thing to blow up, it was suddenly like, oh shit. I did read the coverage and go, I could see why people would think that. It's exactly the kind of stupid thing that Top Gear would do, but in this case it wasn't. This was like the stupidity found us rather than the other way around. So that is the Scout's honour. Can't remember how to do that anymore. 3 fingers?
It's 3 fingers, I think. Yeah.
Left hand? Anyway, Cub's honour. That is the truth, my lord.
You can edit that bit out.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Johnny, what's your favourite barn find, and have you ever thought about actually buying one of them for yourself?
My favourite barn find, and have I ever thought about buying one for myself? I've frequently thought about buying one for myself. I have the opportunity to buy most of them, fortunately or unfortunately. I could have bought the Lamborghini, which I should have.
What did it go for in the end?
30 grand. The guy got it running and driving within 3 months. And it's good. That's annoying.
But is he happy?
I was put off. I was put off by but if the engine's not very good, it'll cost 40 grand to rebuild it. Oh shit, I can't swallow that. I can't risk that. The Audi.
Just stick a Pinto in it, it'll be fine.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. I really fancied the Audi Quattro, the white one. And the guy really wanted me to buy it. He really wanted me to own it and resurrect it. And I bottled it, if I'm honest. I got a bit scared. And it wasn't quite a good time for me to buy a car of that condition / calibre. Slight regret. Because that's an itch I have to scratch. And what else? Oh, there is one that I've actually tried to buy, and it turned into a family feud. And I've been promised that I can buy it, but possibly not until someone dies. So this is true. This is absolute honest truth. So I am going to buy that barn find car, but I might have to wait for a decade, I think, and there might be a family feud. So it's complicated. These barn finds are complicated.
I think we need to start bringing this to its inevitable conclusion.
Do we?
Of us shutting up. But should we do one more question? We'll do one more. Oh,
that was quick.
Over there.
Quick. That was a quick button.
So I've already written this one down. You can drive one car for the rest of your life. One is a Pontiac Aztec, but it's got a squeaky dash.
Oh.
The what?
With a squeaky dash.
The other is any car of your choosing, but DJ Khaled is permanently blaring through the speakers.
What's permanently blaring?
So you've got a Pontiac Aztec
with a squeaky
dash, or any car of your choosing, but it's permanently got DJ Khaled blaring from the stereo.
Oh. Shit.
I'm amazed you're even having to think about this. I thought you'd be like, Aztec me now!
Yeah, I have actually bought an Aztec before when I was doing a TV show in the States, and I had an idea for a sort of like a project car, like a silly project that we had to do, to basically turn it into a rallycross car. And I bought a V6 Aztec, I think they called it a 4-track or it was a 4-wheel drive one. And it was really good. It was actually really good. It did a lot more than I expected it to. We fully jumped it, and I thought, this is game over. It's never going to land this. And it landed, and it carried on for another day after that. And I was like, respect to the Aztec.
Fair play.
So I would take Aztec with a squeaky dash, because DJ Khaled, it troubles me on a daily basis. How someone can become that famous for being so utterly idiotic. But it inspires my children, because I said, look, you can be an absolute idiot and still be a millionaire. Look, here's proof. No disrespect to DJ Khaled. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyway, so I would take the squeaky dash Pontiac, but then I would use some of that Dad bought me it. It's like Dum Dum, black paste.
Oh, yes.
Which it was sort of never quite sets. And you can stuff it into orifices. That sounds wrong. You can stuff it into areas to stop chafing.
I think you're thinking of Astroglide, aren't you?
No!
Is that stuff that cyclists use?
No, it's got nothing to do with our cyclists.
They use that bum cream that stops the
No, it's not bum cream. It's like putty.
Yeah.
Like
I do know what you mean. It's not black
nothing to do with cyclist bumholes.
No, okay, I'm sorry, I'm mentioning cyclist bumholes.
So that was a very difficult question and well thought through.
I'd go Aztec as well. Just for the records.
What's that?
I'd go Aztec as well.
Oh, yeah.
I sort of secretly kind of like them.
Yeah.
Although I once went in about 2000, I went on a paid-for junket to Los Angeles with General Motors, to the Los Angeles Motor Show.
Is that in Los Angeles?
It is, yeah. And the good thing about it is it's a great spectator show because you can see things. And they put us in a really expensive hotel and parked the Aztec concept in the courtyard at the front.
Did they?
Yeah. And we went, oh my God, this hotel is fucking nice. And everything is very agreeable about it. And they went, oh, and look at this is a great new concept. And we all went, it's great. It's so nice. And we thinking, well, they'll never build it. I was there with Quentin.
No.
Yeah. Quentin was going, they don't know what they're fucking doing, the Americans.
So he said. Amazing.
Heady times. All right, well, anyway, look, that is probably that for this. But before we go, I have 3 things to tell you, which I need to read off my phone because I can't remember what they're supposed to be. Oh, God.
I'm going to wear my glasses for this one. DJ Khaled would like
yes,
these.
okay, they are. 3 things are. 1, Jonny has a solo YouTube channel. It's called The Opaque Steak Show, in which Jonny attempts to repair windows using only meat products and then finds, frustratingly, that they're not see-through. This week he's repairing the stained glass on a rectory in Kettering using a lorry load of expired sirloin. If that's not to your taste, why would it be then? Of course, there's the Late Break Show, lots of excellent videos on there about cars and people who love cars and barn finds.
Also barn finds.
As well. The second thing I have to say is thank you to all of you who came to this today. We really appreciate it, and we hope that it's not been too disappointing.
Yes, that.
And the third thing I've got to tell you is that I don't put these in the same place in my phone, and now I've got to scroll. Oh, there we go. The third thing is that Don't Stop Believing by Journey contains the lyric, just a city boy born and raised in South Detroit, but there is no such place as South Detroit. South of the city centre in Detroit is Canada. So, in fact, what Journey is singing is just a city boy born and raised in Canada. Which somehow sucks some of the impact out of the song, I feel, much though Canada is lovely.
I like that song by
love
Journey
that
as
song.
well. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Yes. Is at least...
Gigging it every weekend.
You what?
Oh, really?
Try gigging it every weekend.
Oh,
Gigging it every weekend?
Does it make you want to...
What do you play?
No, no.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes me...
Oh, you get a squealy bit, though.
Yeah, but the bit at the beginning...
That's the good bit. That's the only bit.
Do you know the other weird thing about Don't Stop Believing? Well, you'll know this, is that the sort of chorus doesn't arrive until almost the end of the song.
No, not really.
They don't say Don't Stop Believing until, it's like sort of 3 minutes 20 in, and then the song ends about 45 seconds later.
That's very precise.
Well, I looked this up when I was looking up the Don't Stop Believing. Do you know how this came about? I was listening to Don't Stop Believing, and I went, oh, I need some trivia. I wondered if
Is
there's
that
anything
what we're
about
going
this
to
song.
use it for our intro music?
No, I just like listening to Don't Stop Believing. I
was
was
gonna say-
unironically listening to Don't Stop Believing in the kitchen.
Don't Stop Believing in the Kitchen. That's not a song
I
I'm
stopped
familiar with.
believing in the kitchen once, and then I just starved to death. But then I left the fridge open as well. I think I've said too much.
Fridge alarms. I've learned something tonight. It took me 34 years to learn about the origins of raisins. Now I've learned about...
you learn that fridges can
Fridges
speak.
will let you know if you leave them open.
Some fridges. Don't just leave your fridge open in the hope that it'll tell you.
Whereas Japanese cars will tell you everything's going on all the fucking time. It's like, I know.
Bing,
I'm in
bing,
control of it.
bing,
I'm an adult. Leave me alone.
You've left your keys, and I know.
You've left your keys in. You haven't. You have. You haven't. You have. You haven't. You have. You have.
You look peaky. You look pale. Are you eating properly?
It's going to rain. Have you got a coat?
All right. Well, we really should wrap this up. But once again, thank you ever so much for coming along. Thank you, everyone who's listening at home, assuming there are any people. They're probably all here, actually, so they don't need to listen again.
All the listeners are here, and thank you to Morgan again for letting us
Yes.
host such a squalid event on their beautiful premises. And thanks to all the people who've helped make it happen, like Lisa and Matty and Taylor and Chops and my dad. And you, Richard, as well.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. Who, you? Yeah,
Oh, it
you.
was nothing.
And also thanks to all the people that have gifted us.
Yes,
some
thank you
appalling
for
gifts.
the-
They are amazing. I just look like a shoplifter with split trousers, and you. Actually, you look like a Benetton team manager.
Benetton executive.
But you need Espadrille. You need European shoes.
I should, no socks. Got to take the sport socks off and just wear no socks with Espadrille.
Oh.
And on that note, goodbye.
Goodbye, good night.